This teenage boy killed his mother and his little sister and then calmly called 911 to confess.
What's the emergency?
I just killed my mom and my sister.
What?
I just killed my mom and my sister.
You just killed your mother and your sister? How did you do that?
Pretty, I guess, evil, but that's, whatever.
Jake Evans was the only son born to his parents, Daryl and Jamie. Jake had two older sisters, Emily and Audrey, and then a little sister named Mallory. They were a very wealthy family. Jake grew up extremely privileged. The family lived in Aledo, Texas, right outside of Fort Worth. In a very large, gorgeous home that sat on 2 acres of land, the house had a pool house, and a home theater, and was inside of a wealthy, gated community. Jake Evans was always described as being very shy but extremely kind, and he had no history of violence or misbehaving until his sophomore year of high school, when Jake began having extremely disturbing thoughts and fantasies. Jake became absolutely obsessed with the Halloween horror movie franchise and the iconic fictional killer Michael Myers, who could kill without remorse, and most notably killed his own sister when he was a child. By 2012, Jake's 2 older siblings were already out of the house, leaving just him and his little sister Mallory at home, and they were also both around this time taken out of public school and were being homeschooled by their mother. And it was around this time that the seemingly picture-perfect Evans family began to crack beneath the surface. Even though at the time no one could tell, there were 0 known signs, 17-year-old Jake Evans was fantasizing about what it would be like to kill someone. Jake became disgusted by society. The kids at his old school would discriminate and pick on each other. He saw them as terrible people. Jake hated bullies, and he really hated anyone that was racist. And it was around this time that Jake claims that he realized that his own family, which included his little sister, were these self-centered racist people that he hated so much. And again, this is just according to Jake. I'm not personally saying that his family was or was not like that. Just that over time, Jake became more and more disgusted by his own family. And it was also around that time that Jake began having these really dark fantasies about wanting to know what it was like to kill someone just like Michael Myers, which is when the 17-year-old Jake began planning to kill his entire family. On October 3rd, 2012, Jake's father was away on business, so the only people in his house was himself, his mother Jamie, and his little sister, 15-year-old Mallory. Jake's plan was to kill his mother and his little sister while his father was away on business, and then he would go across the street to where his grandparents lived. His grandparents lived right across the street, and then he would murder both of them. He would then go and kill his older sister Emily, who was a married mother with a toddler at home, and kill her as well. And then he would wait because the next day his other sister Audrey was planning to come home from college for a visit, and then he would murder her as well. So all in 24 hours, this 17-year-old boy planned to kill his grandparents, his mother, and all 3 of his sisters. On that day, Jake had an appointment with his allergist. After the appointment, Jake, his mother, and his sister went out to lunch together. And while they were out that afternoon, Jake claimed that his younger sister, 15-year-old Mallory, made a racist comment about a black man that they saw that was just mowing his lawn. So Jake felt like he had to call out his sister, and then this caused a huge argument between them. When they got home later that day, Jake's sister Mallory asked if he would watch a movie with her, but he didn't want to watch a movie with her because he was still mad at her over that big fight they had. So he went up to his bedroom where he watched the Halloween movie for the 3rd time that week. He then went and grabbed his father's knife because he planned to kill his sister Mallory, and he wanted to cause her as much pain as possible. But then he changed his mind. He still wanted to kill his sister, but he didn't want to do it in such a painful way anymore. Jake then went and asked his little sister Mallory if she actually would go watch a movie with him. They sat and watched Waterboy in their home theater, and it was while sitting next to his sister watching that movie, he was planning on how he was going to kill her later that night. After the movie was over, his little sister, 15-year-old Mallory, went up to her bedroom, and her older brother Jake went and grabbed a weapon. He tried to get into her bedroom, but the door was locked, so Jake told his sister that their mother wanted to speak with her. When she opened her bedroom door, her older brother Jake was standing there with the weapon pointed at her face. And what his 15-year-old sister did next actually really surprised Jake. Mallory laughed because she thought that her brother was joking, making a sick joke. And then Jake pulled the trigger. He shot his 15-year-old sister Mallory in the head and the back, and then her body tumbled down the stairs. Without a second thought, 17-year-old Jake ran to where his mother was doing some work in their study, and he just shot her 3 times without even thinking about it. And it was immediately afterwards that he, I guess, realized what he actually just did. Whatever Jake Evans thought he would feel after killing someone after fantasizing about it for months, he did not feel. He thought that he would be able to kill without remorse, just like Michael Myers. He thought he would feel better, he thought that he would feel powerful, but he didn't. Instead, he began screaming at the top of his lungs. He was yelling about how messed up he was. He got really freaked out. He was like terrified. And it was then that Jake Evans heard a noise. His little sister was miraculously still alive. But instead of calling for help, Jake ran over to his sister, crying and screaming, "I'm so sorry, hold still." And then he shot her in the head, killing her. And then he went and grabbed a phone, called 911, and coldly, calmly confessed to killing his mother and his sister. I'm either going to play the entire or